What if everything you were told about cancer was only half the story? Here is something that is going to permanently change the way you think about this disease. Cancer does not just behave like a random biological malfunction. It behaves like a living organism that has reverse-engineered its own survival inside your body. It consumes your resources, it hides from your immune system, and it spreads into new territory exactly the way a parasite does. And the drug that researchers found to stop it? It was originally designed to deworm farm animals. It costs about $5, 3 patients. Stage 4 cancer, full remission. And not a single major hospital in this country is willing to run a formal clinical trial on it. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to understand cancer in a way that most doctors never explain to their patients. And I am going to give you a specific combination of compounds, one of them sitting in most people's kitchen right now, that researchers found works alongside this drug to make it significantly more effective. That is coming before this video ends. Do not skip ahead. Before we get into the science, let us talk about the scale of what we are actually dealing with here. In 2025, more than 2 million Americans received a cancer diagnosis. That number is not leveling off. Cancer rates in people under 50 have climbed nearly 80% over the last 3 decades. Colorectal cancer, which used to be considered a disease of older adults, is now the #1 cancer killer in young men. It was ranked 4th just 30 years ago. Now, here is something that almost nobody talks about when they celebrate improving survival rates. The official medical definition of cancer survival is simply being alive 5 years after your diagnosis. That is the entire benchmark. If you are diagnosed today and you pass away 6 years from now, you are counted as a success story in the published data. So the next time someone tells you the numbers are improving, make sure you understand exactly what those numbers are measuring. I want to ask you something right now, and I genuinely want your answer in the comments. Has anyone in your life been through cancer treatment? And did their doctor ever mention anything about diet, fasting, or antiparasitic compounds as part of the conversation? Just type yes or no below. Because the responses I get to that question tell me everything about how much of this information is actually reaching the people who need it most. Science foundation. Now let us build the foundation you need to understand what is actually happening inside a cancer cell. Inside every cell in your body, there are tiny structures called mitochondria. Think of them as the power plants of the cell. When your body breaks down glucose for fuel, healthy mitochondria produce 36 units of energy from a single unit of glucose. That energy is called ATP, and it powers everything your body does. Here is where things get interesting. When a cell gets damaged, whether from toxins, radiation, chronic inflammation, or prolonged stress, the mitochondria become compromised. And when that happens, the cell does not just shut down. It switches to a backup system. A much older, much more primitive system that exists outside the mitochondria entirely. This backup system is called glycolysis, and it is ancient. It exists in bacteria. It exists in fungi. It exists across almost every form of life on this planet. The problem is that it is incredibly inefficient. Instead of producing 36 units of energy per glucose, it only produces 2. A Nobel Prize-winning scientist named Otto Warburg identified this nearly a century ago. And it is the exact reason that when doctors want to locate cancer in your body, they use something called a PET scan. They inject radioactive sugar into your bloodstream and then scan for areas where that sugar is being consumed at an unusually high rate. Those bright spots on the scan? That is cancer, burning through sugar as fast as it possibly can because its energy system is so inefficient it needs a constant supply just to stay alive. That is what cancer is at its core, a cell running on a broken backup generator, consuming everything around it just to survive. And I know what you might be thinking right now. This sounds overwhelming. What can anyone actually do about this? Stay with me. I am getting there. And remember, I still have that compound combination to give you before this video ends. The parasite connection. Now here is where everything changes. Researchers have identified 3 specific survival mechanisms that cancer cells, parasites, and fungi all share. Not similar mechanisms, the exact same mechanisms. And once you understand this, the idea that an antiparasitic drug could fight cancer stops sounding radical and starts sounding completely logical. Survival mechanism number 1, the scaffolding. Both cancer cells and parasites are rapid dividers. A single tapeworm can produce up to 50,000 eggs in a single day. Cancer cells divide without stopping because the biological brakes that normally regulate cell growth have been completely switched off. All accelerator, no brakes. Inside these rapidly dividing cells, there is an internal protein scaffolding that makes the whole process possible. A drug called fenbendazole works by latching onto those proteins and collapsing the scaffolding entirely. No scaffolding means no division. Other antiparasitic compounds like ivermectin work through similar pathways, and natural options including wormwood, black walnut hull, and clove do the same thing either directly or indirectly. Survival mechanism. Number 2, the invisibility cloak. Normally, when a cell becomes damaged or dysfunctional, it triggers a self-destruct sequence. It essentially sacrifices itself for the good of the entire body. Cancer cells and parasites have both figured out how to disable that sequence entirely. They display a molecular signal that tells your immune system to leave them alone. A biological badge that reads, "Do not touch this." Antiparasitic compounds appear to strip that badge away completely. Once the signal is gone, your immune system can finally recognize the threat and move in to destroy it. Survival mechanism. Number 3, the fuel source. All of them, parasites, fungi, and cancer cells, run on glycolysis, that ancient, inefficient energy pathway we covered earlier. And antiparasitic drugs, along with several natural compounds, have been shown to interfere with that pathway directly. They are not just attacking the structure of these organisms, they are cutting off the fuel supply at the source. Why you have not heard about this? So, if the research exists, why is this not front-page news? The patents on fenbendazole and similar drugs expired years ago. That means no pharmaceutical company can hold exclusive rights to them. And without exclusivity, there is no financial return on a $100 million clinical trial for a drug that costs $12 a course. Nobody is going to fund that research, not because the science is not there, because the business model is not there. Most of the published research on this comes from universities in South Korea, India, and small independent laboratories. No industry funding, no conflicts of interest, just researchers following the science wherever it leads. There are also published case studies documenting complete remission in stage 4 cancer patients who had already failed chemotherapy. And a 2025 study found that fenbendazole does not just target active cancer cells, it targets cancer stem cells. Those are the cells that survive chemotherapy and quietly rebuild the tumor from scratch after treatment ends. In that study, treated mice had a 100% survival rate. Untreated controls had 0. If you have ever wondered whether the system designed to treat cancer also has a financial interest in not curing it, this video is going to give you a lot to think about. The compound combination. Now, I promised you this earlier, and here it is. Researchers found that fenbendazole does not work in isolation as effectively as it does when combined with specific natural compounds. And those compounds are ones I already mentioned in this video. Wormwood, black walnut hull, and clove. These 3 natural antiparasitic compounds work through overlapping mechanisms. Wormwood disrupts the energy metabolism of parasitic organisms and has shown direct interference with glycolysis in cancer cells. Black walnut hull contains a compound called juglone that has demonstrated antiparasitic and antifungal properties in published research. Clove works on the scaffolding proteins in a way that mirrors the action of fenbendazole itself. Together, these compounds attack all 3 survival mechanisms we talked about: the scaffolding, the invisibility signal, and the fuel source. At the same time, One of these is almost certainly already in your kitchen, and the other two are available at any health food store for a few dollars. This is not a replacement for medical treatment. This is information that deserves to be part of the conversation. What you can actually do. Now, I want to be clear about something. I am not here to tell you what to do with this information. I am here to make sure you have it so you can research it further and have informed conversations with your doctor. What I will say is this. Cancer is highly adaptive. It can shift fuel sources depending on what is available. In advanced cases, it can run on glutamine, branched-chain amino acids, and even ketones. That is why a single dietary approach is rarely enough on its own. There is a separate video I have done on how to rotate your diet to stay ahead of that adaptation, and I will link it below. But beyond diet, the most powerful weapon your body already has against cancer is your own immune system. Specifically, two types of cells. Killer T cells and natural killer cells. Both of them are capable of identifying and destroying cancer cells directly when they are functioning at full capacity. Here are 4 things that have been shown to support both of these cell types. Number 1, vitamin D, not the standard recommended dose. Research suggests that meaningful immune support requires significantly higher levels than the commonly recommended 600 IU. Most people are severely deficient and do not know it. Number 2, fasting. Both regular intermittent fasting and extended fasting periods have shown powerful effects on immune function and cancer cell metabolism. This is probably the single most underutilized tool available to most people, and it costs nothing. Number 3, sleep. Deep, consistent sleep is when your immune system does its most critical repair and surveillance work. Cutting sleep cuts your defenses. Number 4, exercise. Regular physical activity has a direct and measurable impact on the activity levels of both killer T cells and natural killer cells. You do not need a gym. You need consistency. None of these cost anything, and all of them compound on each other. So here is what we now know. Cancer shares its core survival machinery with parasites and fungi. Antiparasitic drugs and natural compounds can disrupt that machinery in 3 distinct and simultaneous ways. The research exists, and it is being published by independent scientists with no financial conflicts. And your immune system, when properly supported, is more capable than most people have ever been told. You came into this video thinking about cancer one way. You are leaving it thinking about it differently. That shift matters. Layer 1. Share this. If you know someone who is dealing with cancer right now, or who has a family member going through treatment, please send them this video. Not because I want the views, because this information took real digging to find, and it should not be this difficult to access. One share from you could genuinely change what someone decides to research next. That is not a small thing. Layer 2. Hit the like button. If this video gave you something you did not have before, the like button is the fastest way to tell the algorithm that this information deserves to reach more people who are actively searching for answers. It takes 1 second. It matters more than most people realize. Layer 3. Watch the next video. The next video covers exactly what to eat when you have cancer and how to rotate your nutrition plan so that cancer cannot adapt and find a new fuel source. This is not optional information if you are serious about understanding this topic fully. It is the most important thing you can watch after this. It is right here. Watch it now.